welcome back to our next road test. And today we're delighted to be joined by Brigad. So I'm just going to bring on Nicolas from Brigad. There you go. Hello, how are you, sir?
Hi, Chris. I'm great. How are you?
Nice to see you again. We met on the podcast. This is Nicolas Ferrary. He's the UK MD at Brigad. And how have you been since, I think it was Christmas when I last saw you. Is that right?
Yeah, exactly. Just before Christmas. I mean, been great. It's been like 4 months for me now in the UK, so super happy to be here.
Good. Well, welcome. And today we're going to have a look at your product, but along with a good friend of yours and a customer, it's Nicolo Portunato, the co-founder of Platform, which we know very well down in Canary Wharf, and Shoreditch now, you tell me as well.
Correct. Yeah. Actually, the first one is open in Shoreditch 5 years ago, and now it's almost a year in Canary Wharf.
Well, it just shows my London knowledge is awful, but thank you for doing that for me. But welcome. And how are you, Nicolo? How's it going down at Platform?
Yeah, good. January and February are still, very kind of, not say slow month for us, but we're gearing up for the rest of the year. So it's been a very busy Christmas, so we were quite happy. And all good at the moment, and trying to get more trading on. So and hopefully more location as well.
Yeah, well, then I can talk more about my London knowledge, obviously, once you do that. But look, really today we want to look at the Brigad platform and really talk about the benefits of it. And I know we spoke on the podcast, Nicolas, and it's interesting now to see the actual product in action. And I was in a WhatsApp group the other day full of ops directors, and they were asking, they wanted chefs quickly. So I gave them your name and I shared it in the group, and they went off. So hopefully they contacted you, which would be good. But tell us a bit about Brigad and what it does, because for anyone watching who don't know you, it'd be really useful.
Sure, of course. Well, first, thanks a lot for having me. So Brigad was launched in 2016, first in France and now in the UK. We've been in the UK for 5 years, actually, launched in 2018. And what we are, it's pretty simple. We are a platform that helps businesses in hospitality connect with freelancers for short-term missions. So typically you're a restaurant, a pub, a venue, like Platform, and you need an extra pair of hands, both front of house or back of house. You will go on the platform, post a mission, and it will be sent to the most skilled and available freelancers who can then basically decide to take the mission or to decline it. We've been in the UK for a bit more than 5 years now, obviously with ups and downs with COVID, as you can imagine, and now active with more than 2,000 businesses in the UK, using us on a regular basis in all kinds of segments: hotels, restaurants, venues, contract catering, pubs. So very happy with the journey so far.
Thank you very much. I mean, it's really interesting. We talked about obviously the benefit of having you around to support the industry. And Nicolo, we'll get into this a bit more detail later on, but I'm guessing you're using the platform. It sounds a bit of a pun there.
Yes.
But you're using the Brigad platform, and I'm guessing you've had a good experience. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here.
Yes, and I think it's been a great add-on for the company. We went from a traditional I would say, on demand for staff to Brigad. That's been, very user friendly and very easy to convince my team to use it. So it's been great so far since early December. Yeah.
That's brilliant. And I think before we do any more, it'd be really good to have a look at the platform, Nicolas, if I share it, and then you, by all means, give us a little chat through it and tell us what we're looking at. I think it shows us booking missions on and goes through the process, but I'll share away. Feel free to give us the overview.
Yeah, so there are two apps, actually, one for businesses and one for freelancers. So this is the business app. And so this is what we call the mission creation module. So this is like a demo of how you create a mission on Brigad. So it's pretty user-friendly. You select the days and the hours for your mission. So here, typically, it will be like a 3-day mission between the 9th of February and the 11th of February. In this example, I then decide to basically cancel Saturday the 10th. It becomes a 2-day mission. Let's say I'm looking for a senior waiter and for one person. So in a few clicks, as you can see, I can create my mission. I can decide, this is a new feature, I can decide that my mission would be sent to more people in the case no senior waiter would be available. And then I can add a few uniforms or equipments that the person needs to bring. So in this example, white shirt, black trousers, and sneakers. I can specify if the person needs to have a vehicle, and I can add some description as well. So it's pretty easy. And then you see a quote here. And if you're fine with the price, you launch the mission. And once the mission is launched and has been posted, it reaches available talents. Then there's another part of the app where you can see all your schedule and future missions. You can also see like the previous ones, so all the people you've been working with in the past. You can decide to work with them again, so you want to work with them again and create your own pool, basically, and give feedback to every person you work with in the past. You can also see in this example, there is no ongoing missions, but you can also see all the missions that are currently ongoing and the upcoming missions with people who accepted your future missions. Then you can see your talent pool, as I just said. So yeah, in my example, let's say I have several different businesses. So let's go to Brigad Cafe, for instance. Let's call it a cafe, and you can see all the people you worked with in the past. Some of them are in your favorites because you loved working with them, so you want to work with them again. And you can add any of them to your list of favorites very easily in 2 clicks. Here, it's done. I'll remove the person, so we go back to the previous stage. But yeah, I can basically manage my list of favorites pretty easily, which is something that the businesses like a lot, to be able to rework with the people and create their own pool, basically, of freelancers they can work on a regular basis. Here it's another feature on which you can actually adjust the mission. So let's say in the end the person had to work like 2 hours more or 2 hours less. You can actually adjust the length of the mission before it's invoiced. And here another one is you have access to all the legal documents. So for every mission there is a contract which is issued between the business and the freelancer that you can access here, and you can also access the invoice for every mission easily. And this is more admin. So this is basically as an admin for my business, I can add more users. So let's say, imagine typically I'm a regional manager managing like 10 sites, and I would like to have each of my ops managers or unit managers manage their own site. I can add them to the account. I will still keep my administrator view, but each of them will be able to post their own missions for each of their sites. So this is how I send an invitation to them. Payment details and invoicing details. And last one, which is interesting because we have more and more groups using Brigad, is how to add sites pretty easily. So adding their names, phone numbers, addresses, and the nature of the site. So you have basically, this is to show that you actually have 2 kinds of users. On the business side on Brigad, you have the administrators who will own the whole group, be able to add more people to their account, more sites to their account, and then you will have site managers who will be responsible for posting and managing the missions at the site level. So finishing to add a new site here. Done. Last but not least, the assistance tab, where you can basically be in touch with at any time with our assistance team at Brigad. So this is pretty straightforward. You basically type any issue that you have, could be using the website, the app, or during a mission typically.
Love it. I mean, it's
pretty simple, as you can see.
Yeah, it really is. And I love the fact that you did that. You may have done that before, right? So yeah, it was really good.
Yeah.
And Nicolo, is it as easy to use, I suppose, for a customer? So like onboarding your team onto it, you said before you were about getting adoption from your team. How easy has that been? You're on mute, just FYI.
Yeah. Sorry, because I was they want to disturb the demo. No, so it's been. I mean, because we have a young team, people, we are, just to give just 2 words about platform. We have a kind of a gaming bar where people come and experience. They have an experience around video games, and then they can order drinks and food. Our team is quite young because also because our customers are young. So I think we like to have a team that is.
Are you saying I'm not the target market?
That's not true. That's not true. It's like maybe we target everyone. So we have like all the generation coming to play video games, and I think that's actually our mission, is like to give accessibility to video games to everyone. But coming to the app, what's been amazing is our team just forget now about the agency and just go to Brigad straight away, because it's just less time consuming. It's like using an app, on your phone or on tablet. So on a few clicks, you can, put a mission in less than 30 seconds, and you can have pretty quick answers. 7 days a week also, that's been also amazing. Usually we are very busy on weekends, and agencies, they don't work on weekends. Maybe they have like an emergency line, but in the case of Brigad, is like, it's a system that is working 24/7. So yeah, I think it's been very welcomed by the team.
And I suppose, and Nicolas, we spoke originally about this, saying how it reflects hospitality, Brigad, right? The fact you just said there, Nicolo, that actually when you're on, you need the app, right? So weekends are the busiest time. That's when you get let down the most, I suppose, by your own team because of whatever reason, right? I've been in the industry a long time. People just don't turn up on a Saturday sometimes. So, and I think you've built it so it reflects that, right? So you have got that 24/7 access all the time.
Yeah, exactly. So it's an app. So basically, you can post your mission at 3 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday night, and it will automatically be launched and reach available people. So it works 24/7. I think, yeah, like, flexibility is very important in hospitality. Very often you have last minute needs. I was checking before this webinar, and I could see that in your case, Nicolo, the missions that you post are short-term missions, a bit last minute, etc. So that's the typical use case that businesses have with Brigad. And if you need a waiter for 2 days, today Thursday, let's say you need a waiter for Saturday and Sunday, you don't want to spend hours briefing someone, receiving CVs, selecting the people, etc., etc. Like, yeah, flexibility and the fact that it goes fast are very important. But then, and that's the other part, I think, of what Brigad is, you shouldn't sacrifice quality. Going fast, being connected with people in a few minutes or hours should not mean that you should not work with the best people. And that's the other part of what we're trying to do, is to make sure that through our skills, the fact that we know hospitality very well, and also our technology, we manage to match businesses with the best available resources for the needs.
Yeah, Nicola, so I'm sure you've had a few people through who've come and worked for you. What are they like? I mean, what kind of people land with you? Are you impressed with what you've received so far?
Yeah, I think I was like I'm not managing the sites, but I've been receiving the emails and checking the profile of people coming in, and I was very surprised about the quality of people. Few people, I'm born and raised in Switzerland, so I know Ecole Hotelier really well. Few people from the Ecole Hotelier, came to work, and then I see emails from my team saying, "I wish this guy was working for us." So no, it's been like some great stories around it. I think Nicolas talked really well about how all the positive effect that also create like nice stories. Usually with agencies is like people just come and leave. There is like sometimes I have already like a couple of very great stories from our team about Brigad being so easy to use. Also they're less scared about using agencies. That's what also brings Brigad, because it's like, oh, should I ask my manager? Oh, actually I have the accessibility to do it. Obviously sometimes there's a step where there needs some approval, but on our side, but no. So I think, to be honest, like, it was a very pleasant surprise until now.
That's good. Yeah, there you go. Nicolas, it is an extension to your workforce, isn't it? It's an extension to your workforce. It's basically the people that you never knew you needed, right? So kind of who you end up getting every day.
Yes, correct. And like I said, I mean, there's a very variety of different people coming in, and obviously, like, more to use it, the better the team are to select, the profile to come into the venue. I think as when you have a team that is on average 25 years old, I think I wouldn't consider agencies anymore, and would just go to Brigad and hope we can use it as effectively as possible. Obviously, because in our case, Brigad is more like kind of a support function, like you said, Chris, about on weekends when we are very busy, or even during the week when we have an expected event, last minute, where we cannot, we don't have a big enough team on the rota.
And Nicolas, I think that's where it's really intuitive, right? Where tech fits into these guys' daily routine. So the people that run the business, that the guys who are actually running the sites, it doesn't become another add-on. It's just part of what they do. That's, I suppose,
exactly. So it's on the phone, and it's on the phone, and basically the way it works. I think one thing that is important to understand, it's Brigad is what we call a closed platform compared to an open platform, which means you will post your mission. It will be sent to available people who have the right skills. So we have what we call a matching algorithm in our own language, which is basically a tool, a tech, a product to make sure that we match your request with the best person. And so you will not receive 20 CVs or 30 CVs and then have to spend time, like calling them or selecting who the best person is, etc., etc. The matching is done by the platform. So basically, all you have to do is what I just showed in the demo, which is to create a mission. Then it's launched to the right people, and then the most motivated person takes the mission and will come there. And so you basically have nothing to do on the business side. So that's where you save a lot of time. But again, as I said before, doing that, and that's very important for us, doesn't mean that we want to compromise on the quality of people, because that's the most important thing in the end. If you save a lot of time, but then the people coming don't have the right skills or the right qualifications for the job that you ask them to do, it's not going to work.
And what kind of people actually are joining the platform? Obviously, we talked about the business side of it, but what about the actual people who join in?
Yeah, so they're actually freelancers. And so most of them are actually becoming freelancers by when they start using Brigad. And very often what they're actually looking for is more flexibility and take control on their own lives. So I think that's something we see a lot in hospitality now. People are not like thinking of, like making their entire career with the same business. They actually want more flexibility, but also they want to learn fast. And Brigad is actually a great way for them to, like 1 week like work for a business like platform, maybe the next week work for a pub, then for a hotel or for a contract caterer. And so they will actually learn a lot. So that's something that they value a lot. And I'd say also one thing which is important for businesses is because they are freelancers, they actually represent themselves. They really have this, understanding that they're running their own business, and they will see the hospitality business that they work for as their clients. And so they will want to make sure that they provide the best of themselves to make their clients loyal. We talked a lot about the favoriting system, which is important for businesses, and talent's actually aware of that. So, as a freelancer, you basically want to make sure that your clients are happy and will want to actually work with you again in the future. So that's something which I think very specific to Brigad, that they're freelancers and representing themselves.
No, it's a really interesting way of looking at it, isn't it? That it's a freelancer who's actually protecting their client base. So actually, when you turn up to platform to work on Saturday night, that actually doing a good job is getting onto that favorite list is really important. Sorry.
Yeah, exactly.
It reminds me of Uber. It's like I think it's just incentivize both sides, not just one side.
Yeah, I think that's really important, because that's the bit that I think traditional agency would miss potentially. That often the overarching opinion of traditional agency is quite sad. It's quite, you get people who are unmotivated, who don't really, just kind of just tick in the box that they've been told you're going there. Whereas this is much more motivated by the individual selecting where they go. Is that right, the way to say it?
Yeah, I'm glad you're mentioning that. That's a big difference actually with agencies. When you work for an agency, basically you're being told by the agency where to go to and who to work for. Whereas with Brigad as a freelancer, you receive the missions on the app and you're completely free to accept them or decline them. So if you accept a mission, it means you really want to work there. The mission is interesting for you. I think it makes a big difference in terms of mindset.
Yeah, love it. Yeah, I think it's brilliant. And is there anything particular, Nicola, that stands out for you in terms of features that, I know you don't actually run the site, but I don't know if the guys have told you of the particular features they use. Is there something that really stands out for them? Maybe it's the favoriting, maybe it's kind of inviting people back who they love.
Yeah, I think it's the favoriting. I think this feature is not just helpful to obviously select the great people that you want to work again, is also to put our team to get our team used to actually selecting the best people. And so more you interact with the platform, more likely you have a better person on your shift. And obviously every ship has a shift leader, and and obviously if you get the best out of an emergency from Brigad, then it's better result for our team. So this is how also we pitch it internally. How to gamify it actually, because something that you cannot really do with an agency that you can do with an app like Brigad.
Love it. And I mean, and Nicolas, we've spoken lots on our podcast about this. Do you know you've got the most viewed? We do shorts from our podcasts, like on YouTube.
Oh, really?
You're the most viewed on TikTok and YouTube. You're the most. You like an my friend. But yeah, and what does it look like? What does it look like for the future? Because obviously, what I love, we just talked this morning actually in our team about tech that's really simple. Actually, that doesn't need to be too complex, especially around staffing, because it's such an emotive part of the business that actually having the right people in the right place at the right time is key. What does the future look like? How much more can you develop it, or is it just about finding great people still to come and work with you?
Yeah, so we're in a phase where we're really like expanding and so getting more people on the platform on both sides of the platform, more skilled talents on one side and more businesses on the other side. For now, in the UK, we're only in London typically, so only available within the M25, and so we have expansion plans. We plan to double our presence in the UK in 2024 compared to last year.
Wow.
So that means a lot of work on both sides, and we are also like expanding in new segments of the industry. I think like originally pre-COVID we were working mostly with independent restaurants and pubs. We're actually working with more and more venues like platform, and now also working with contract caterers. So typically we're working a lot with a company called Thomas Franks.
Yes.
They're using us a lot, and this is a segment that we're also expanding to. So that's the main thing. And then in terms of product, when you run a tech company or a product company like Brigad, it's always continuously improving. And so taking user feedbacks, understanding what you need to improve. And typically, I'm very happy to hear from you, Nicolo, that the favoriting feature is something that you use a lot, and that is important because it's typically something we are investing a lot on to improve and to make better. Work on improving the product, making the experience always better, and expanding in new geographies, expanding in new segments like contract catering are the main priorities.
No, it's brilliant. And I think what I said before about for Nicolo, actually, it just becomes part of your week. Like Brigad, I mean, for you, Nicholas, that must be brilliant. That Brigad just becomes part of the tools that you use in your day-to-day. Nicola, what about you? Obviously, I presume you're going to keep using Brigad as long as the great people keep coming. And what about the future for platform? How many? You said you're going to maybe look at one more site this year.
Yeah, actually, I don't know if you heard the news this week. There's a bus who entered in London who hit a venue. It's our venue.
Wow.
So
no.
It's sorry. Yeah, it was that's the funny story. So we're not in a rush. So at the moment, our main focus is Shoreditch is flying. Now it's just we've been just a year in Canary Wharf. Canary Wharf has his own ecosystem, which is still, kind of getting more and more customers through the door. So we want really to stabilize both venues, and then obviously we have this third venue on the line. We have an agreement on principle with the landlord. So now they need to fix.
Look, thank you very much for coming on, Nicola. I appreciate it, and I'm sure Brigad appreciate it as well. And how do we get hold of you, Nicola? If we want to find out more about platform, or we want to find out when the opens.
So you can find all the information on our website. It's called experienceplatform.co.uk, and obviously anyone can reach out to me on LinkedIn, Nicolo Portunato. I'm more than happy to catch up, discuss. I love being in touch with people from the industry, so they can reach out to me like this.
I'm going to bring the team to Shoreditch, but anyway, and Nicholas, what about Brigad? How do we get hold of you? I mean, I think the last 20 minutes showing us anything is the need for you actually, and what it can, and the power of what it can do for your business. How do we get hold of you guys? Yeah,
sure. We'd love to have more. So quite easy to find us. So online, brigad.co, no E at Brigad, BRIGAD.co. So we have two apps, as I said at the beginning, one for the freelancers and one for businesses that you can find easily on the app stores. And as well, you can, just like LinkedIn me pretty easily at Nicolas Ferrary with a Y at the end, almost like the car, but with a Y at the end. And I would be happy to support more businesses, of course, in hospitality. And also want to say a big thank you to you, Nicolo. And thanks for sharing your story. And it's amazing to receive positive feedback like that. So thanks so much.
Yeah, thank you also to have created like such a easy way to get people in. My team love it. And to share another like small story about last week, our ops manager was on holiday, and basically the team was a bit anxious about obviously she usually deal with getting people in case we have emergencies, and actually she let the team use it, and it's been great. So another like good story to talk about Brigad.
Cool.
That's
Good
brilliant.
Thank you.
Again, that's like empowering the team, right? In a different way. I was going to ask before actually about is there a hierarchy that control the app? But if it's, I suppose if everyone's sensible, it just makes sense, right? It's just get help for the team and make sure things run properly. Look, really interesting, guys. If you want to find Brigad, they're on the marketplace on Tech on Toast. techontoast.community/marketplace/Brigad. See if you can write that one down. And you can find this video on YouTube. It'll be out very soon. And thank you very much for coming along. That was Brigad, everyone, featuring Nicolo and Nicolas. So have a great day, and thanks very much.
Thank you, Chris.
Thanks, Chris. Bye-bye.
Thank you.